got some folks just joining us right now, so we'll give you a second to join in. But we're so excited to have you all on International Women's Day. And we love to have all of these amazing events on Alignable. So this is part of Alignable's Small Business Essentials series, where we take topics that our over 8 million members have brought to us, and we bring in some experts on Alignable to really share with you and share their success and what's working for them. And I have the absolute privilege today of getting to bring in some of my favorite women on Alignable to share some of their stories, their successes, and even sharing their hearts with you a little bit, because we know that it's not always easy, but it's always worth it, especially when we lead with integrity. So I am going to jump right in. If you can't hear us, make sure that you tap your screen. That will unmute us. And we do have the chat disabled today, but we have Willis who will be manning the chat for you guys. So as you have questions, please feel free to share them in the Q&A channel. We will try to get to as many of your questions at the end of today's event. We'll save some space for you. And as you get to hear from these amazing women and some of their stories, you're definitely going to find that you may have some specific questions for them. So as you have a question, if you would like to address a specific panelist, please feel free to drop their name in the chat with your question, and we'll make sure to direct it their way. So with that, we want to kick this off and go into some of our panelists' stories. Like I said, we have 4 incredible women to share with you today. All people that I consider to be my good friends and also some power users on Alignable. So we are going to kick it off today with Stacy. Stacy, you have been just such an incredible joy to get to know over the last couple years. Stacy is an ambassador and a group leader on Alignable, and someone that I consider a friend. So Stacy, can you share a little bit about what you do, how you got here, and just kind of some of the trials and triumphs along the way?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Brittany, and for the team setting this up for us today, and welcome to everyone that's here. I started out just writing down a few things, and I wrote down, maybe you've tried to make changes in areas of your life, but you just keep ending up in the same place. And I'm kind of segueing into why I became a certified life coach, but maybe you've been looking for guidance, but you don't know where to look, and you just need to find out like where I'm at right now and moving forward in your life, just to know that you are not alone. And another thing that I wrote is that you are not a failure, because we know that we move forward. So in my journey, I was married 20 years, and my husband decided to call me one day from where he was working and tell me that he didn't love me anymore and he wanted a divorce. I had 4 young sons, and I had an $11 an hour, maybe $11 an hour job. So with that being said, I felt like the wind was out of my sails. I went back to school, 45 years old, to become a nurse. I mean, I didn't even know how to speak the language math, but I did it. And the boys got to see their mama go across the stage and get my certificate to become a nurse. And I went into palliative care for cancer care, and I worked many years in that. And then I worked at college teaching college students, like things that feel impossible are actually possible in life. It's when you hunker down and really want it, and you have people come alongside of you that believe in you. So with that being said, I just wanted to be the best mom that I could be. And whatever I did, I wanted to do with excellence. I wanted to do with a genuine heart. And I wanted to make sure that the stress in my life was always managed, to get my sleep. Yeah, that's the answer to life, isn't it? Get our sleep.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was sort of my story. And now this year I'll be 60. And I realized that in this new place, lifeinpiecescoaching.com is where you can reach me. I feel that there's a place now where I can mentor others, that I can come alongside as you're looking forward in your life. And yeah, things happen, but it doesn't define you. And also coming on Alignable, I decided that I really wanted to be more involved in community. And how would I do that, since I'm not always technical? So I went into Alignable, and our Niagara network grew. I was like looking on there thinking, there's other people like me that want to be part of this. And so our in-person, we have like 50 plus people that come to our in-person, and even online. It is just growing. Why? Because people want to connect. Yeah.
Yes. I love
Yeah.
that. And so, Stacy, you obviously have a couple roles on Alignable. How has being a group leader and an ambassador really impacted your business growth and just your personal community?
I think that that's a really good question because I think that the follow-up, the connection that you have with others here on Alignable, and also like informing others, like saying, hey, you can be part of this as well. I really believe in that inclusiveness. Like, especially being a woman on this, I feel that I have a Facebook page, Women Inspiring Women, and I can see how it really works in the essence of who I am as a person. I can just be myself. And I know there's a saying, it's by an unknown author, but it says, be the person you needed when you were younger. And like
Mm.
I said, I want to be that person, not to all people. That's why we have community. So I do see that anything that we do, I wrote down one of the things is that it's supportive. I feel appreciated who I am, my ideas. I have two groups. One is the Canadian coaches, and that's without borders throughout the provinces. And also, that's a new one. And then the one that I have is backyard entrepreneurs because I have a little farm and we have a rest acre here now for women to come and they can have it's on Mueller Acres Rustic and they can come and stay at the cabins. They can stay in our little suite. So we have a place for women to come to be refreshed. And I can give them a little bit of life coaching if they want that. Or maybe they just want some s'mores and get them all sugared up and send them home. I don't know what their need is. I do believe that Alignable has helped perpetuate that forward by being able to actually men and women, anybody on here, being able to get to know people from all different places. And it's really a pleasure to get to know people, isn't it? That's what we're here for, connection. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing, Stacy. And Willis is going to be sharing Stacy's group links in the chat. So if you want to get to know Stacy a little bit more and see what her group is all
Thank
about,
you.
definitely click on that. And
Yes.
we have not heard the last from Stacy today, but we are going to move on to the amazing Dr. Nola. I have had the privilege of getting to know Dr. Nola over the last year and a half, and I could not sell you as well as just your essence can sell itself, but you inspire me every day, and we would love to hear a little bit more about your story.
Brittany, first of all, I just want to thank you. You are so supportive. You are the face of Alignable when it comes to support. I've interacted with you, and you have definitely not just supported me, but every member of the group. So, I'm Dr. Nola Vize, and I'm a clinical psychologist. Did you know that 50% of our population suffer from mental illness? But that's not what I'm doing right now. I have the privilege to be at the helm of V Solutions Consulting. We are a training and staff development company that trains other mental health providers and addiction counselors. But most of all, I'm a veteran, a 20-year veteran from the United States Air Force. And I feel especially honored to be at the helm of V Solutions because V Solutions is a service disabled veteran owned small business, not just woman owned, but service disabled veteran owned. And I think our greatest triumph as I see what we're doing, and I'll explain a little bit how Alignable really help us with that, is to be able to connect with other veterans on Alignable. We have the veteran owned small business group and the Black owned small business group, two great groups. But when I talk to veterans like myself, and we talk about some of the struggles that we faced even during our service, but also coming out of the service, it gives me great honor because I feel like I'm serving twice. I served while I was in the military, in the Air Force, and now I'm able to serve not just my fellow veterans, but others who are unalignable. When Brittany first asked me, why are you unalignable? Tell me a little bit about why you're unalignable. My clients, I said, don't come from necessarily alignable, but my passion does because I'm able to give back by mentoring. And Alignable has provided a space for me to mentor, especially people who are just starting out in business because I know how difficult it can be. Starting a business, that's the easy part. Being able to maintain and grow that business is very, very difficult. And I feel like I've been blessed. I've been blessed with years of experience, mentorship from others, and just great people that I've met on Alignable who've supported me. and gave me the privilege to mentor them, especially. And I'm just giving a shout out to the veteran owned small business because it's a group that we share some things in common that not many people share our service. I want to give a shout out also to the Black owned small business because we also share some things in common, but also because they give me the privilege to sit down and mentor one on one. There are some uh, roadblocks, but those roadblocks have become stepping stones, and I feel like I'm one of the stepping stones, and each of the members of those groups are stepping stones, not only in my success but their success. And I think Alignable, you played such a great part in doing that. You provided a forum where we don't feel like we're selling things or selling ourselves, but we are engaging with each other in a relationship building that I have come away with friendships, and I've come away with some team members, as a matter of fact, from Alignable. So I'm grateful to Alignable because some of my team members come directly from Alignable.
That is amazing. And, we're really big on know, like, and trust. And if you can build those relationships here, those are absolutely the people that I would want working shoulder to shoulder with me every day. So I'm so glad that you found those partnerships. And Nola, you talked a little bit about, really how Alignable has helped you kind of build your network and really grow this space. But would love to just also hear you have two such wonderful, thriving communities on Alignable. How do you feel like you've been able to give them that space to elevate those two unique communities to further themselves on Alignable?
I think trusting people's leadership. A
Mm,
leader, I consider myself a leader from behind. I lead from behind. And that is being able to elevate others, and trust in them. The Black owned business and the veteran owned business have such great leaders that sometimes I don't even have to be around, and they lead. I lead from behind. So I think that the answer is finding people and trusting them to do what they're capable of doing. And that has provided the space to grow and to thrive.
that is amazing. And Willis will be sharing Dr. Nola's awesome groups in the chat. So please join them and see what those communities are all about because she has really built such a special place on Alignable to elevate these amazing businesses. And would love to turn it over to Allie. Allie, you are someone that I have connected with in just probably the last 6 months or so. And quickly, I have felt like we have known each other forever. And we talk a lot about being around like-minded business owners, but it's really special when you can be around like-hearted business owners. And Allie, I think people will understand what I'm saying when you share a little bit about your testimony, your triumphs, and kind of what brought you to where you are today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate it. And I'm just giving you forewarning. All my kids are home because it was a half day. So if they come in, I'm sorry, but that's life, right?
It is a
So
safe space. We appreciate
yes. So obviously I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I have 4 kids. And I didn't grow up in business or entrepreneurship or anything. I had no idea what that was. And so I was able to kind of fall into it by accident. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And as I've been in business for over the past 15 years, I've done so many different things. I've done e-commerce. I built a digital marketing agency. We've done network marketing, affiliate marketing, coaching, consulting, all the things. And at the end of the day, I really was still unfulfilled. I wasn't sure exactly what my purpose was and what God wanted me to do in my life. And then he let me sit in nothing for like 6 months. And I was like, thank you, Lord, but no, thank you. I am not one that can sit still. So yeah, that was an experience, but it was so beautiful because it really allowed me to be in alignment with what was going to come next. And so then about 2 years ago, he said, start a networking event. And I was like, what? I've never done that before. Like, where is this coming from? And he's like, I want you to be a connector. And I'm like, that's awesome. But like, what is that? How do I make money doing that? Like, what? Like, I need to support my family. Like, how is this, working? And so then I tried 1,000 different platforms and did all these things. And some worked, some didn't. And then my Facebook account got hacked last year, and I was locked out completely. And I was like, oh my gosh, because everything I had done was built on Facebook, and I had another platform I was on, and I was devastated because I had built a following of people, that were loving the networking aspect of what I was doing. But it was the best thing that could have possibly happened to me. And I told Brittany that. I was like, this is literally a godsend to me. Within 2 days of my Facebook account getting hacked and not being able to get in and everything being lost, I came all in Alignable, and I was like, that's it. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to build here. And when I found out the software that they had and just all the things, I was like, yes. But more importantly, I was able to bring my community over of believers and people that, really love God, and make a space that felt safe and like, I don't know, like coming home almost. And I had never experienced that before in any other platform I'd used. And so, number one, ease of use is awesome. Number two, the people are just amazing, and it's all inclusive. And I can't remember who said that, but it is all inclusive. Like, it doesn't matter your race, your faith, your business, what you do, like who you are, like it doesn't matter. Everyone is included. Everyone feels loved and accepted here. And that is so different from everywhere else that I've ever been, like in any platform. And so you have something so unique and so special here. And I highly, highly recommend that everybody be on Alignable and really make those connections. And I think the thing that I love the most is that it's like this. It's like what we're doing here. You get to actually see the person and talk to them and connect with them. And I love, Stacy, that you do them in person. I've done a few in person, but I'm mostly online. And so it's been really fun to be able to have multiple events now, and like our group is growing like crazy, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun when you can really connect with people on a deeper level, and that's what Alignable gets to do. And it's awesome. So I highly, highly recommend it.
I love that. And, Ali, you touched on it a little bit, but I think for so many of us, building a network can take some time, and that's okay. It's okay for it to take time because there's quality in time. But I think your story is really interesting because you kind of went from zero to hero overnight, where you had to come in with nothing after having this great big community and rebuild. And I know, we've worked closely together, and it did take some time, but if you could just take a minute and kind of share for those, of these wonderful ladies who are joining, like sometimes it's, what did you do? So, you got here, you had to build a network, you wanted to create a group, and you created a group, and now you've got a thriving group. But how did you do it? Like, what were the one or two steps that you had to kind of take to start to build your network on Alignable and start to get some partnerships through that?
Consistency. But I would say consistency, and I would say multiple events. We started out with one event, but that doesn't always work for everybody's like time, like the day and time. So being able to have multiple events that you run are really helpful, because then you can hit multiple people in different time zones and all the things. But then the other thing that I think was important is I went to other people's events and I connected with them. Like, I remember Nadya, I've been to a couple of your events as well. And I think we both live in Texas, so that's kind of fun. But anyways, side note. But yeah, just being able to connect with people outside of your community to then bring more people inside your community, and then really edifying people. And that's why I also love Alignable, because it encourages you to do that. I love the top thing that you guys there were some edits in the platform. Now up at the top, it shows you exactly what you're supposed to do every day. Just network, connect. Like, I was like, yes, this is awesome. So it's always been there, but now I love that it's like front and center. So they're teaching you how to connect with people. So Brittany was asking, like, how did I do it? I followed Alignable system, and I said, I'm going to connect with people. I'm going to promote people. I'm going to just be the person that I would hope someone would be for me,
Yes, I
So
love
yeah.
that. Ali, now you've got like over 1,000 members in the group, right? And we just
Mhm.
started it, what, 6 months ago or so? So,
Mhm.
I mean, that's
Yep.
amazing. And, one of the things that Ali touched on is, she came on and, she went premium. And then I think, you went premium plus after that. And, so you were able to start hosting a lot of bigger events. But there's so many different ways of getting there. And I think that's what's important is, you can host events, you can be a part of a group and lead a group, but even just going and being an attendee at an event and meeting those people and getting the exposure can help you build a network so much faster than anywhere I've ever seen possible. So there's so many different ways you can get there, but I love that you've gotten a chance to kind of do it all. So thank you
And
so
I
much.
appreciate that. One quick thing, Premium Plus, y'all. If you're on Premium, that's great, but Premium Plus is where it's at. I'm not even gonna, like, I'm not trying to pitch it, but it is amazing. Like, it's amazing because you get so many extra perks and so many other things. And honestly, I don't even have enough. I'm like, is there a Premium Plus Plus Plus? Because I don't have enough credit for all the people that I'm meeting, but it's amazing because you're able to get that extra exposure and you're able to help more and more people in the process. So I highly recommend the Premium Plus. It's amazing.
I love that. And that's kind of like power network. So I think, you know, probably the two things that Ali's touching on there is that you get 105 connections, so you can connect with more people. So if you're doing as many events as Ali is, you need that. And you go from, you know, those 5 communities of reach to national reach. So it's awesome when you're really building a huge network. So thanks, Ali. Thanks for sharing. And we are going to kick it over to Nadya now. I know we already got to mention her. Nadya is kind of a power user and the hostess with the mostest. You've seen her face all over because she has so many amazing events. But Nadya and I have known each other since I started with Alignable and have seen the Women Solopreneur Networking Group just grow and flourish. You know, I love looking in at the numbers because it's amazing to see the growth. And I think we're just at the cusp of 90,000, like we're just almost there. Women coming together to network, to enrich each other's lives and to help each other grow their businesses. And Nadya, would love to just hear a little bit about your story because you inspire so many.
Oh, thank you, Brittany. Ladies, it's beautiful to hear your stories. Well, my name is Nadya, Touch with Coaching by Nadya. I am an accountability wellness coach. I work with professional busy women who are looking for balance in their health and life and strength in their body and in their health as well. And how we do it, we have a power club where we work together on setting non-negotiable self-care habits through mindset, nutrition, and fitness. And, you know, when you asked to share this story, I'm thinking, where do I go? Let me tell you my 5-year-old story. I remember sitting, I don't even know if that story happened, but I remember when a 5-year-old sitting in a dark corner of the room, kind of actually hiding from the world. Because when you're not visible and seen and heard, you're safe. Decades later, I found myself actually sitting in the same position, being an adult, being a mom, already running her wellness business by the lake here in this country, crying, asking the question, am I in the right place? Am I in the right relationships? Am I the right mom? Am I the right business owner? Am I worth it? You know, that moment when you're like questioning everything. And I was an adult already. And in that moment, it felt like a quiet moment. I heard the voice deep inside, but also out loud. You are in the right place. Now take the boat in your direction. What does that mean? He says, take care of yourself. Your body, mind, and soul is the priority, because when you do that, you keep hearing my voice, you keep hearing your passion, and you can own your power. Okay, so through the journey of tools and techniques, I love the concept of the wellness vortex. It's like the journey. What do I want? How do I establish what I want? And how do I get there? The 3 phases of this momentum picking you up. Yes, it's a habit change structure, but it's also the travel of your consciousness when you develop your self-care through self-love. So my plea for all of us, yes, we have our passion, we have our families and businesses to run, and when you start with yourself, when you take care of your body, mind, and soul through mindful nutrition, fitness, and thinking By the way, you align, I love this word, yourself with who you are and the power you own. And then you create a ripple effect in the world of that power and love. I love that. Shall I talk about my journey on Alignable?
Yes, please. I knew
Because
you were going
that's a part of my journey.
like halfway in, but it
But
is
that
a
is
big
a
journey.
that is a part of my journey because right around COVID time, where we could not go and network, I was still a fitness trainer at the gym at that time. And then boom, everything closed up. So I switched my business online, 100%, still doing fitness online. And I remember sitting in this exact place, but there was a sofa and this email came in again. 12 years, honestly, I think I had been on this platform called Alignable. Like, well, looks like it's online. Let me check it out. So I refreshed my profile. I created everything fresh, and then email started showing up. And then there was a request in one of the groups. Hey, anyone will be interested to become a leader? I'm like, that's interesting. That voice maybe again said, now is the time. So I said, yes, I'm going to be interested. And the group was 300 members at that time. Now we have 85,000. And between this group and the second group, I co-lead, we have 100,000 members, Brittany. Unbelievable. So yes, and sometimes people ask me, so what do you do for the network? I say, I pay for 2 network opportunities. I pay for my local chamber. And honestly, it's the same number I pay for Alignable. So I work in person and I network online.
I love it. And Nadya, you've built really a brand kind of around networking on Alignable, which I love. So Willis will share in the chat the Women's Solopreneur Networking Group. I know a lot of you are joining us from that group today. And it is a powerhouse for women to get together, to network, and to share their stories. So Nadya, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You guys all just are consistently inspiring all of us. And so we have a few pre-submitted questions that we're going to go through. But during this time, as you're watching, please drop your own questions in the Q&A. Willis will get those over to us. So if you have any specific questions for any of the panelists, now's your time to drop those. And if you have just any general questions, we would love to take those too. But I will kick us off with some of these pre-submitted ones. So what is your #1 tip for using Alignable to build relationships with women who are new to networking or the business world? And Nadya, I'd love to have you kind of kick us off with that one. You touched on it a little already.
Okay, so the tips. I have 2, but it's one letter. It starts with C. One of us already mentioned consistency. In fact, let me go ahead and jump to clarity first. When I sat on the sofa creating my profile, the question was, what do I want? Who am I? Who do I serve? How do I serve? What results do they get? It's really creating the clarity of what your business is, how much time you're going to spend on the platform, what is the clarity of your profile. It's almost like when they see your profile, it's like seeing the front of your house. And the second C is consistency. Once you've got the clarity, or just keep looking for clarity, consistency. I personally, this is just me, I network in 2 groups. I network weekly. I meet one-on-one. I do my best to follow up with everyone and then repeat.
I love it. That's great.
Did you write that down?
Yeah, I know I have my notes out, guys. So if you didn't write it down, make sure that you're connecting with Nadya after. And Stacy, you represent kind of the in-person aspect too, and also our amazing Canadian friends. So would love you to share what is one tip or 2 that you have for really using Alignable to build those relationships, especially as a woman business owner.
Well, I want to hear everybody say A, and then I can start the Canadian side. No, I'm only kidding. Anywho, I can say A as well, or y'all. I've been practicing that a little bit because I'm meeting so many Americans as well. But yes, so the in-person, I believe, is very, very important in your community because I started with 3 people that came to the Alignable lunch. And one of them, the fourth one was the waitress. So I asked her to sit down for the picture. So we took a selfie. I put it up. I was so happy. It didn't matter to me about numbers per se. It was just that people came. I was so excited. So when more people come, I'm actually that same posture. I think when things happen in life, if you can keep your posture sort of who you are, you can always do whatever you're doing with excellence. So it's not perfection. It's just you invite people and you're willing to share about even just looking on here when I think the word networking, like it's almost like a net in a way because you're capturing people that maybe necessarily would be floundering kind of and would like to be part of something. I feel like there's a real connection with the people that I've met here in Niagara, in our specific area near Niagara Falls. And they meet regularly. I make sure that I have like the menu options available for them so that it's a quick sort of the food part's not a worry. And then when they come, I usually someone wants to give something away in the network, which is so nice, like a certificate or something like that. And one time I felt like I was Vanna because they were like, I was running, I was getting certificates from people, and I was like, anybody else want to be? I don't know. One time I played musical chairs at my, I was just, because I'm not really a game person. I realized you don't have to be something in it. You can just be yourself. And that draws people as well. So I've appreciated the in-person for sure. I would like to do more online. I have done things online with the Backyard Entrepreneurs, which I love the group. They come from all over and you get some great ideas. And so it's just asking questions and so on. But I think being part of it for these few years has really taught me a lot about myself too. So if you're looking for connection and you're looking for a place where I really feel like I want to belong, it's just, there's so many groups that you can be part of and they're genuine. So yeah.
That's amazing. And so, two really great perspectives because we talked a little bit about, how COVID really created a new normal for us where there is so much online presence now, and that's not going away and it's continuing to evolve into something beautiful. But Alignable really believes in the heart of brick and mortar too, and being on Main Street and getting into these local communities and these local businesses and really being able to elevate them. And the alliances are a great place to find it. So make sure that if you're not a part of your local alliance, that is a great number one tip. Get plugged in locally, elevate your business, and connect with Stacy. She'll be able to share all about it. And we do have another pre-submitted question. We're also getting some great live questions, so keep those coming in. We'll be getting to those in just a moment. But how does being a woman impact the way you approach running your business? And has the gender-focused support on Alignable helped enhance your approach at all? Dr. Nola, I would love to turn that one over to you first.
Yeah, I think one of the things that women bring is that we're able to use both sides of our brains. We are analytical, yet we're very compassionate, which works on Alignable because it is relationship focused. But because we're relational, because we're able to deal with all our feelings and stuff and give of ourselves, does not mean that we're also not planners, strategists. And I think Alignable embraces all those things that women are.
Yeah.
And so being a woman has impacted my journey on Alignable in terms of whether men or women, when they come into the groups, they don't see a woman leader, they just see someone who cares for them, who is willing to go on that journey with them. And so the impact, I think, running a business is being able to bring ourselves without that restriction that sometimes men may have, not using their feelings, not, and I wouldn't say using, but not putting their feelings out there, and women are not afraid to do that.
I love that. Great answer. And Allie, would love to see how it's impacted you and if you found that space on Alignable.
Yes, definitely. I would say I loved everything that Dr. Nola said I really feel like the focus that Alignable has on being able to be aligned but not, it's not too like mushy, but it's also like, hey, let's really get to the heart of what business is. What's the whole point? Why are we here? It's not to pitch everybody, right? And I love that. Like my Wednesday time that I have with Alignable, I'm always like, we're not here to pitch. We're here to, connect and build meaningful relationships, because it really is all about the relationship first. And then the business is second. And I think that whether you're a man or a woman, I feel like there's a place for everyone. Everyone belongs, and what everyone offers is meaningful and amazing. But the most important thing is what you offer from like being yourself and being able to build those relationships. And so, but I do think that being a woman, it's been fascinating to watch, because my group actually went from being women only to then allowing men in. And so that was kind of a different shift, because I always worked with women, but the men on Alignable are so cool. And I was like, I feel like I'm leaving you out. So I was like, I need to bring you in. And they've been amazing. And it's been so fun, because we even have some events that are women only, men only, and then we have co-ed events with both. And it's been really fun to watch, because even the men will sometimes go to the women's events and the women will go to the men's events. And I'm like, well, we should just make them all co-ed, but whatever. It's fun to have like separate things, but it's been really fun to watch how the men like open up and they get excited about what we're doing, because we kind of led the way for them to be able to be in tune with themselves too. So it's just really cool. And then how they bring so much value to us as women, because it's primarily women in there. And so it's been really fun to just kind of see that evolve. And so I really do think that being a woman and being able to impact people in that way is really powerful and important. So.
Love that. And, I think what's really important to note, especially, if those of you who are joining us are not part of any of these groups yet, Alignable has been really great about having groups where we can all coexist and impact each other and share different perspectives. And then we also really believe in having some more niched groups where you really can find a safe space to connect and to be who you are and show up authentically. And, so before I move to the next question, I would be amiss if, Nadya, I didn't call on you for a second, because you've, really created a space for, women only to really come together and network. And they're still very active on the platform as a whole with all of our members. But I think the women appreciate having that safe space to network. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you very much. I was just listening to y'all and thinking, oh, y'all, by the way, how is my accent? Y'all.
I love it.
At the beginning of my coaching business, I remember I gave a survey to my clients, and then I realized from the survey what I helped them with, but it's also was 90% of women. That's why maybe you heard in my introduction, busy professional women. And then switching to the network, when I joined Alignable, I thought, well, since I'm working with women, I love networking with women. Maybe that's why I got attracted to the first group that I co-led was Women in Business. When I started leading Women's Solopreneur Network, sometimes I have to make a pose because we have our branding. The branding is, are you ready? Girlfriend Business Chat.
Love it.
The way we created it, Sue was on that call. It was right at the beginning, but it was just 300 members, 9 or 11 people come to the meeting, and all of the same ladies come, 9 of us, and we just sit and stare at each other and talk about different subjects in women's life and business. And then someone said, it's like we're just sitting around the table and chatting with each other, girlfriends. And then boom, this girlfriend business chat showed up. 85,000 members later and 5 leaders, we keep that mission, sometimes hard, but it's actually at the same time pretty simple because it's all women related. All the meetings that we bring, whether it's Smart Connect, educational series that we just started, masterminds, it's all around us as women business owners dealing with our life, with our health, with our business, everything else that is involved. So a girlfriend business chat, I just have to say that. Thank you, Brittany, for the space.
I love it. Awesome. And we're still getting some awesome live questions. We've got 2 more pre-submitted, and then we're going to jump into that. So it's not too late. If you have a specific question or a general question, go ahead and drop those in the chat. But can you share a time when support from the Alignable community impact your business growth or helped you through a difficult stage? And Stacy, if it's okay, I would love to start with you because you have just shared so much of your heart with me and have been so grateful. You've helped me in a lot of ways, more than I
Oh,
think I've
thank
even
you.
helped you. But would love to hear how your Alignable community has helped you get through the challenges that life throws at us.
Well, this year when I turn 60, I want one of those 6-0 balloons because like when I go to the store, I go, I'm a senior now. Like, could I have that coffee? Just like a little bit of I'm like, maybe they should have a discount for people that go through a lot in life. Well, during a time, I guess I always believed in my coaching practice that, no matter where you find yourself right now, just know that you're not alone, that whatever you're facing. And we go through things in life and we think that, yeah, I can do these strategies, but no one prepares you for things that you go through. So in June, one of our sons, we have 7 sons, one now is in heaven. He passed away and he has 2 little girls. So he was 31. And that was a very difficult time. Being a palliative nurse for years, being teaching in college, running a farm, being a mom, being a grandmother, it pales to the fact of losing something precious to you. And so when in life there's something that happens, you do look in some point for support. Some people find more support being alone or so on, but I didn't know what to do. It was just like it happened this past June. And so I think I went on and I just said, "Hi, Brittany. I just wanted to," and she like we zoomed right away. And I cried. I told her what happened and my network, like I didn't want to drop everything, I did kind of, but anyways, I had this upcoming in-person event and it had only been a couple of months, but I still went and I just whispered to someone that I lost my son. Well, after that, I don't know who he was, but one of the businessmen went around and he said, like, we are here to support you. I felt like I had all these co-ambassadors. Like I was like, I feel like I was showing up for the meeting and you guys are just coming here. Right? And so supportive, little notes on there, even on the Niagara, like they would send me private notes and so on. It was just a support. I never thought that online would be supportive because I like in person. I'm more like, do you want to come over for a cup of tea or coffee? That's kind of how I am. But I felt like online was very sweet and I think it helped me, it impacted me. Brittany, like when we talked and you just listened, like you are who you are, like you just listen and then I dried my tears and I decided that I was going to keep going and see what would come in the new year. And I gave myself bite-sized times, like I gave myself a month here, a month there, and so on. But I do know this. 35 times doing something becomes a habit. 100 times becomes a way of life. So I needed to begin a new way of life. So I started walking, I started taking a little bit more care of myself. I came on Nadya's different platforms. I've come on hers before as well. I still have to go on Dr. Nola's. Like I've got a lot going on now. I could go to all of them. So I see how a difficult time it helped me. It supported me. I have friends, but it just did because I wanted to keep my practice going. I wanted to keep my farm going. And people would say, "You got this, Stacy, you got this." And now I'm a little bit stronger now too, that I'm able to say to others, "You've got this." And people do share intimately with me. And good thing is that I don't remember everything, but I do remember the person, right? So I can write and yeah, I do care. Like when I say, "How's it going?" to my members or whatever, they'll tell me about their family and then I'll follow up the next week. I write them back, "How's it going in that area?" Because I know how much that meant to me. So if you're here watching, no matter where you find yourself right now, there's a group of women here that were on the platform or other women on the platform that actually genuinely care for you. And I know you can't, you know, feel that hug, but just know that we're kind of doing that. We're giving a hug, sort of like that. Yeah, a hug. Oh yeah? Oh, that's pat you on the back. Oh, I see. See, in Canada, we do it a little differently, right? We're just kind of like a distance. No. And then we say, "You're awesome, eh? You're awesome."
Yes, you're awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your heart, Stacy. And I think that's what's so key. And Stacy, you shared it so eloquently. Alignable really came together for that exact reason. We have business owners who are working across the street from each other who are so busy working in their business that they couldn't even get to meet the people who are right across the street from them. And so we're so fortunate to have a place like Alignable where we believe so much in that community aspect. And, it's not social media, it's networking and it's building a community and uplifting each other as other business owners. And you can't do that unless you've got a community keeping you strong as individuals. And so I think that's just such a great way of sharing it. So we have one last pre-submitted question, and then we're going to jump into a few live ones because we're getting some great questions from you guys. So the last pre-submitted one is, how has the community you've built on Alignable helped you balance wellness and running a business? So that work-life balance. So Dr. Nola, talk to me a little bit about that work-life balance and how Alignable's created a space to make that a little more manageable for you.
I think one of the things that I found unalignable is the relationships that I've forged with people who believe in that work-life balance supports me and supports that in me. And I do the same for them. It's supporting that. I've always been, especially being in mental health, I've always been a proponent of work-life balance, and I follow that. But to find people who also supports you, one of the things that I recall is one of the co-leaders in one of the groups. I was sick, and we had, we wanted to have all these smart connects and all these other things. And she not only stepped in, but she would check on me. And I think that is so important. How are you doing today? Because sometimes when you especially are someone in the mental health field, when you are a provider, you tend to get into that mode providing. And sometimes you need somebody to provide for you. And so having that one woman who was also co-leader, call and say, or text and say, hey, how are you doing? That's okay, we have it, is so, so important. No matter how good you are at setting boundaries, no matter how good you are at that work-life balance, having another person remind you from time to time and say, how are you doing? It's key.
That's huge. I love that. Well, we have so many good questions coming in. I want to get to a couple of these live ones coming in for you guys. And one of the things that we're hearing the most is people want to be able to get to know you guys. So, I would say some of the best ways to get to know you guys is to reach out and connect with you through your groups. We will be dropping those group links, but also getting to know you guys and your profiles. So we'll make sure that we share out their profile links as well in a follow-up email so that you guys can all get to know these amazing ladies. And they do have some great questions. So I'm going to open up a few of these. So far, they're open for any of you to answer. So whoever feels compelled to answer, just jump right in. What's a piece of advice that you'd give yourself when you were just starting out in your career?
Do it messy.
I like that one.
just do it. Don't overthink it. I think that was the thing that I wish I would have told myself, because I kept thinking it had to look the certain way or be the certain way. And like when I came into Alignable, for example, like I just was like, all right, Brittany, what do I need to do? Just tell me what I need to do and I'm just going to do it. And so I kept tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and like figuring out like what's working and what's not working and just being okay, just like kind of cannonballing in and just figuring it out as you go, I think has helped our group grow. And even my relationships with Alignable, just, you're going to mess up. You're going to say, oh, actually, I think we need to do it this way. Oh, actually, we're going to try it this way. Oh, no, we're going to change it back to this. No, we're going to, and just being okay with that, I think would be my advice.
I love that. Do it messy and maybe do it anyway. This is my big one, right? Do
I
it.
love
I
it.
have to tell myself all the time, do it anyway. No matter what you're feeling today, do it anyway. It's just like going to the gym. You don't want to go, and then you get there, and it's like the best hour, 2 hours, however long you commit to it.
Yeah.
Get messy, do it anyway. What other?
I would love to add, I love what Ali said. One of the things that I found necessary for me is to know that I am not my business. I am the person who's been entrusted to carry out whatever mission, whatever vision that business is about, but I am not my business. And so I'm able to step away from there. I don't have to be on 24/7. So
Right.
I love what Ali said, do it messy. And part of that messiness is knowing that you and your business are two separate entities.
Mm-hmm. I love that, Dr. Nola. And also what Ali said too, it's totally resounding. And I know that Nadya feels that same way too. And Brittany, I think even thinking that you were created on purpose and for a purpose. So you have purpose. It's just finding that purpose. So yeah,
I love that. The intentionality of that. You're here for a reason.
absolutely.
Nadia, what's some great kind of sage advice that you would give for kind of just starting out in your career?
Hey, I heard this just recently. Are you ready?
Yes.
You're never going to get it done. You're never going to get it wrong. So what I hear from that is like, oh, bummer. But oh, wow, okay. Perfection, as you mentioned, is in the progress. And I'm feeling setting boundaries is really, speaking on the self-care is really important. What is that? What are the successful systems that you already have for your personal care and around the business hours? And then keep those systems, especially in the days when you wake up and ain't feeling like it. Follow the systems, generate that excitement. And again, you're never going to get it done. You're never going to get it wrong. Just try it. Just keep going.
I love it.
I like the messy part too.
Yes. I think that's going to be our mantra, all of us today. And another really great question from the chat. How do you empower yourself and the women around you?
I think being honest, like really being real and yourself and hopeful that change is possible. I think people see that from you if you actually believe your message. And you know, I think also when you start the day out that you've had a good rest. That's the answer to life for women, I think, is just to get your sleep. I don't know, is that bad?
No.
Just, if you can get your rest, aren't we a new person? Like, I just want to be that person. So then when you get your rest, right, and you take care of yourself, and you know that life has its ebbs and flows, it has its up and downs, it does. But being able to know that you know, you can be there for someone else. You can be there for yourself. Make sure that you pencil in time for you, for your friendships, for your children. I used to pencil my children in on my calendar because we had the writing calendar. It's like, Mommy, why is my name in pencil there? I said, because you're very valuable, son. You're very valuable. Right?
And I wanted to say something about what you were saying, Stacy, about the sleep thing. So when I started back 15 years ago, I didn't sleep. Like I would just like burn the candle at both ends and I would just be doing all the things. And now I get like 8 or 9 hours because I'm like, I got to go to bed at like 9, like that's, I put my littles down and then I go to bed right after that. And I don't wake up till I need to get them up because I'm just like, I need my sleep. And so if you do it the other way, you're going to be so much more successful. Just don't do it the opposite of what I did because it's so much better. So much better.
Ali, that's going to serve you really good when you become a senior. When you sleep, especially in your youth, I tell you what, it really pays dividends as a senior. But one of the things that I find is embracing my imperfection. And in doing that, I have a group of women that we prayed Monday through Friday, every day at 6:30. We get up and we do that. We do not start our day without that, because for me, it's very important to connect to my higher power, to God as I know him and understand him, so that he can, it lifts me, it puts it puts, I don't know what I would call it, but it puts something under me, lifts me up when I'm not able to lift myself up. And that is embracing all of me, imperfections and everything.
Oh,
Amen.
I
I love
that.
it.
And we just got another really good one. Who inspired you to be a leader and why? You all are group leaders, some of your ambassadors. Who is that person that inspired you to step up as a woman and lead in power and in grace?
My mother inspired me. She was a leader, and the Air Force really honed that in. They provided the leadership training I needed for the inspiration my mom gave.
Love that.
I would say my grandmother. My grandmother, she would make those nice little socks and things like that for the war vets. And I would go up to the Legion and we would make like all these big meals and so on. She goes, you never know when you're going to feed an army. I go, like my own. I didn't know I was going to have 4 boys then. So then I learned how to cook. Right? And she's just always doing things in community. She was really given to hospitality. So I think having like our Mueller Acres rustic here for place for people to come and rest, I can see that she has sort of her handprint over things, you know. She would never have chickens like I do, but anyways, that's another thing. But she was given to hospitality and she put a lot in. And I think you know, that's how we are. Like all of you watching as well, like you invest in other people. And when you invest in something, what do you want? You want a return of some sort. You want a return. I feel that we've invested in the Alignable and we're seeing returns. We're not doing it for the wrong reason. We're doing it for the right reason, but the return is the fact that we're actually able to help others, whether they're starting a business or whether they're finishing a business and wanting to start another one, or whether they want to connect, whatever it is. Business women want to connect with other business women, and it's a beautiful thing to watch and to be able to you know, host events so that other women can connect, or men and women can connect as well on here. So it's a great platform that way. I think it's great that people have come here enough, they care enough to come and hear a couple of us share our stories, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I will join what Stacy mentioned. Brittany, when you asked who inspired you to be the leader, I took it as, oh, lead in the group. Sue posted the question and I said yes. And at the same time, I had role models in my life, and I feel what's leading me is like my drive and my desire to show up, to teach what I know. I know this group, let's go ahead and do something together. I just say, let's go do something. It's like my curiosity to move forward, to progress. And actually, in fact, by doing that, I still feel like, am I a leader? Of course I am. But what it teaches me is to be, and I've learned quite a lot through this few years of leadership in the groups as well, is to be an active listener and open receiver. You know how we sometimes, it's got to be Nadya's way or no way. My daughter is here. We just had this conversation this morning. But then there is always at least 10% of what another person is saying that is right. There is always a gift or opportunity, even if there's something that feels so wrong. So really in the leadership, what it allows me to grow myself as active listener, open receiver, and allowing other person to be right, at least 10%. And then we can create, navigate, and explore what's the next step. And I feel that's why our groups are so successful and we co-lead together and create together.
Love that. And we are getting ready to close out in just a couple minutes here, but in the chat, Willis is going to drop all of these amazing panelists group links so you can get to know them better. She's also going to be dropping a link for if you want to create your own group or community on Alignable and do what some of these amazing panelists have done. We're all here to support you and we'll show you how. And of course, a great link to learn a little bit more about Premium, which all of these are premium and beyond women and are using it to really grow their business and grow their impact. But with the last 2 minutes that we have while Willis is sharing out those links, rapid fire, if you can give our attendees the one thing to do in their profile or on Alignable when they get off this call that you think will make the biggest impact, what is that one thing?
Stand up in the power stance. Be the power woman because you own your power.
I love it.
Power stance.
That's really good.
Come to give, not just to receive.
Mm.
You will go further in your relationships.
Yes. Down to the comments that you make and the posts that you make, right?
Yeah.
Start those.
I always love reading when someone says, I want to introduce myself. This is who I am. I always read those completely because I'm like, I love that. This is where I came from. This is a little bit about my business and why I'm doing it. It's in a family business, or it's something that I started, or I was creating in my, that makes me want to read more. So I think if you're just putting that together, think about the things that matter to you when you read them and how that comes across. And I think if you're just yourself, you're going to do fantastic, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off of what Stacy said. It is really about the relationships. It just really is. When you can just be yourself and not worry so much about the product and service and whatever, like that will come but have the story behind it. That's the whole point of what we were doing here today, is we were telling our stories so that you would connect with us, because that's the most important thing, is building the relationships. And that's why I love Alignable, because that's what they focus on. So, yeah.
And if I had one tip as I close this out, I would say go to each of these group links, connect with these ladies. They are such giving women who want to help you succeed, not only on Alignable, but in your journey as women and as business owners. And I just thank you all so much for sharing so gracefully today. Happy International Women's Day. We will share out this recording for those of you who were on it and want to hear it again, or for those of you who missed it. We're so happy to have you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you, everyone. Happy
Bye,
Ladies' Day.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're good.
I think it's still
It's
recording.
still recording.
Let me.